Hello everyone, this is Monstertaming coming to you with another Kindred community news update. This time it is July 14th, 2023. Starting things off, we have completed a series of new human animations. Many of these will be utilized by NPCs as well as the human player. Here are a few examples. I'm guessing this is a gathering. This is a lie down one. I'm assuming that maybe you go see it past the time. And this is probably for like a gardening or a gathering type thing. Obviously, you need to be able to get up if you lay down. They say this for the player, yeah, as well as the human player. I wonder what would have you be sweeping. Like, I wonder if there's like a side quest or something where you like clean up my shop. That's a pretty simple one that you see in a lot of games. You're just taking an item. Okay, moving on. It's like Violet Fang has been rigged for animation, and North Star is almost finished as well. Little Bandit's combat animation are in their final stages, and Briarheart has been implemented as a playable character. We are currently implementing the previously modeled hairstyles and outfits in the project. This opens the door to creating tons of new NPCs with more unique looks. We've also implemented the animations of elderly human characters. Mr. Green Collar has been fully implemented, and we're finished the concept art for another important human character. Concept art and modeling are complete for a unique set piece that's significant to the beginning of the story. We're currently in the early stages of revisiting another important set piece is concept art. Since this piece will be implemented in multiple locations in the world, we want to make sure it sets the right tone. The VFX we've been creating are now fully implemented for nearly a dozen abilities and characters. We also have SFX in the works for many of these abilities. As we implement new abilities, we get to move many kinfolk over to using their actual abilities instead of placeholders. That's good. As new characters are being finished, we're adding them to their respective cinematic scenes. We're making unique animations for these characters, as well as making polished cinematic animations. We are working on many scenes are close to completion. Encounters and early story missions have been using placeholder art and fairly basic logic until recently. We've gone through many of these encounters and placed some final art, improved logic, and added more developed dialogue. Many of these needed to account for the player accidentally getting into weird states if they didn't follow the mission directions a particular way. The terrain and path designs for the side missions mentioned in the last newsletter are finished, looking great. We polished the terrain in town. Now we're looking at the surrounding areas and points of interest as well. We now allow melee and ranged attacks to use different attack origins on a per kinfolk basis. We've also updated certain attacks to use a higher attack origin for shorter kinfolk to avoid immediate collisions with terrain. Our character controller has a new and improved handling for root motion. Now we can set which portion of animation uses root motion, whether the root motion overrides velocity or is additive, and which axis the root motion affects. Also, root motion magnitude is affected by the player movement input. Root motion particularly helps melee abilities feel better, so we're looking forward to showing these improvements to our combat arena players in the future. That does sound good. I look forward to seeing a day where we can get another update to the combat arena. We swapped Hull Piercer over to using our new combat AI framework. This also included changes that help swimming and flying kinfolk to better maintain a target altitude. For example, flying and swimming NPCs often match the altitude of their target enemy, but flying NPCs also need to keep the same altitude above water when flying in order to avoid falling in while fighting a swimming kinfolk. We improved how character controller handles movement while dashing and dodging. Originally, for each frame of dash or dodge, the character controller was calculating how far the character should move in that frame, and then teleporting the character to that position. Instead, we now allow for dashing and dodging to set the velocity of a character by setting velocity instead of incrementally teleporting the character. We achieve the same motion. However, now we have better collision handling, so they're no longer able to phase through walls of terrain. Also, dashes are better at traveling over uneven terrain and down slopes. We now show the status effects in our use item UI, so you can see how a party member would be affected by an item. We also add a display for buffs and debuffs finally and a bond increase decrease notification. Yes, the display for buffs and debuffs is absolutely amazing. That would be awesome to see in the alpha. A lot of our menus are getting new improvements. We cleaned up our inventory tabs and moved quick use to a hold to use system. This makes it so much easier to use multiple items sequentially. We've improved scene loading and loading screens. And for the community, subscribe backers have until July 31st to submit their titles. If you have this tier, check your email. If you have any questions, send a message to support@skymill.com. Thanks for stopping by. Next newsletter will be on July 28th. See you then. So, I'm glad to hear the progress is coming along. It's nice to hear a little hint of what might possibly be coming to the combat arena, and the animations are looking nice. Please let me know what you guys thought of this newsletter in the comments below. This has been Bisloba signing off. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye, God bless, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.